Today I'm building this mirror frame for a client that wanted it to appear like it was floating off the wall. Now I realize the shadows in the picture are hiding the floating aspect, so you're just going to have to trust me that it looks cool. One of the key ingredients to getting perfect miters is to start out with perfectly square stock, so I took some time to set up a feather board when ripping to width. I mitered one end of all 4 pieces, and then I set up a stop block so I could cut the corresponding size to the exact length without getting them pinched between the fence and the blade. I needed to cut a really deep dado to accept the mirror and the supporting back panel. So instead of trying to hog out all that wood with a stacked dado set, I did a 2-cut pass on the table saw. The first cut was to establish the width of the dado. Then I reset the fence and blade height to cut the depth. This mirror was so heavy it made me grunt when I lifted it, so I decided to reinforce the corners with floating tenons. I clamped the pieces together to add a little stability while I cut the mortises. Since band clamps are primarily useless tools, I opted to attach some temporary glue blocks with CA glue. These blocks gave me something substantial to clamp to, and they don't hide the miter on the outside corner like a band clamp does, so I can be sure the corners are nice and tight on the visible edges. I added some paper under the glue joints to protect my pristine looking assembly table, and then checked the diagonals for square. Once the glue dried, I broke off the glue blocks and then went to work cutting the back panel to size. I squared up some alder for the back inner frame, marked them to length, cut them to length. I then added some pocket hole screws so I could secure the inner frame to the outer frame. This gave the whole piece some rigidity and strength to hold that large of a mirror. Then it was time for assembly. For the inner frame, I just assembled it using some glue and brad nails. Then I just dropped in the mirror. Earlier I had painted the back components black so they would disappear in the shadows behind the mirror. And finally I dropped in the back inner frame and secured it with pocket hole screws. Here you can see that the inner frame is inset. This is what will give it the illusion that it is floating off the wall. The whole thing is hung from the wall by the inner frame on a French cleat. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you want to see what I am working on in my shop right now for upcoming videos, please follow me on Instagram. And of course, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of the next video.